we are getting into lesson 4, social learning. Don't know why it's not called social learning theory, but it's called, in the guide, social learning. So we are really looking at what social learning, how can social learning theory explain group behavior. A note on this, explaining group behavior, I put these in the guiding questions because that's the terminology in the guide, but I think it's just more important that they can explain, they can use things like social learning theory and social identity theory to explain behavior first, and then group behavior maybe later. Because you can't, it's harder, much harder to explain group behavior. And what is group behavior? It's about 5 different things it could be, than just say, here's social learning theories explaining aggression. And much more likely that they will just have to write about behavior, not group behavior, in the exam. Now I need to go back and edit the slides so these appear one at a time. I will make a video on how to do the race to the front quiz. There's a couple of little things that make it work really, really well. It's really fun. These questions are also in the workbook as well. So if you don't like this race to the front quiz, they can just write the answers in their workbook. Warning, may disturb, really hard watch. I mean, it's, especially if you're a parent. We're looking at Jonestown mass suicide, ends tragically. Kids drank the Kool-Aid. Why did they do it? Was it they just doing what their parents told them to because of authority? And it's just a bit of a hook to again ask that question. We're looking at psychology in the real world and asking that question, why? And early in this course, we're just trying to reinforce that idea in students. That's what we do as psychologists. We look at these peculiar, interesting, inspiring, devastating examples of behavior, and we ask the question, why did it happen? So just a quick chalk and talk, and I found some in this classic scene from Jaws, the dad sitting there and the boys imitating everything he does. This is on YouTube Shorts. Hopefully the link still works. It's kind of funny. I think there might be some swearing in there. Just check it out. Anyway, just examples of kids copying their parents. Chalk and talk, just quickly, and then for the chalk and talk here, because then this sets up the next activity. Again, I've made this, I've used myself. Feel free to change it and make it about you. I would love that you would. I think it helps with the relationship with students when you're bringing yourself into the class, but that's just me. I've just said, look, need some help. How do we teach some kids some manners? And once again, less about the ideas they come up with and really just getting them to think about attention, retention, motivation, motor reproduction. Putting the thinking back in them, getting them processing this, trying to do something with it so they'll remember it. And there's space there in the workbook for them to write their notes. And this is similar to what they're going to have to do in paper 1 section B. I'll put this afterwards, but you might want to set them up if you've got kids that only do things if it's going to help pass the test. They could set them up to motivate them before they get into it. Really good section of the BBC doco that explains the Bobo doll study, and space there in the notes. I always tell my students, and I've kept this little wee note on any time where I have guiding questions for a video, that they should just watch and write down the notes afterwards. I don't like students writing down while they're watching. Just use those to, okay, this is information I need to take from this video, and then when the video finishes, I say, right, working with your partner, write down the answers to the questions. Chalk and talk. I'm going to be I'm linking to videos I've already made and making new videos to help reinforce the explanation so students have them. Workbook notes, and then a homework task. See if the parents can remember any examples of the student copying them, observational learning happening at home. This is actually a photo I asked my wife to take, so I was trying to do yoga a few years ago in Japan. I thought this was a good example of social learning at the time. Another alternative would be to watch the first 12 minutes here of getting into social identity theory. Social identity theory is really tricky. Ideally, we'd want to spend 3 or 4 lessons. Ideally, we'd want to spend at least 2, if not 3 lessons on each of these theories, social learning theory, social identity theory, in one go. Instead, what I've done in this course, out of necessity, is break it up so it's cover different sections. Social learning theory appears in 3 or 4 different chapters. Social identity theory, at least 2, maybe 3 different chapters. So those 3 or 4 lessons where we used to teach it in a block are now spread out through the course, which can work equally well, right? Because then they can either reinforcing the ideas on numerous occasions. Anyway, but that 12-minute video could get them a head start into the next lesson. So, pretty straightforward lesson. You can probably see the trend, right? It's like a bit of a hook, a bit of review, consolidate. I mean, you've used my materials before, you know how it works, and then chalk and talk coupled with the putting the thinking back on you. Let's do something with this information now that you know it. There we are.